Peace. This is Ken Law here. I'm coming to you today with a unboxing and a demonstration of a new juicer that I got today, and it is the Optimum 700 Advanced cold press juicer. This is by a company called Froothie that's based out of Australia. This particular unit right here is great to me because it's a masicating juicer rather than a centrifugal or using a blender. As you can see, we have Vitamix here in the back. The reason why I went with this, and this is going to be my go-to juicer and large, bulk intake of fruits and vegetables, is because, again, it's masicating. It's not centrifugal. And there's a ton of different studies and reports that are out that give you a ton of different information about what the differences are between the three. And for me, it does break down a lot to preference, but there are a lot of facts in the differences between the three that, for me, makes it what it is as the masicating juicer being the best choice. Also, on top of that, the vertical masicating juicer. Now, when it comes to blending your fruits and vegetables, what you're doing is keeping the fiber, and that's great for you to make sure that you're getting the dietary fiber. And that's one of the reasons why I do like to incorporate a lot of smoothies into my regimen. Now, when it comes to juicing, there's the big debate between centrifugal and masicating in the fact of your nutrient content. That's also in the realm of blending as well. And there are studies, and there's studies that will give the yay and nay to all three. But in those studies, you'll find a lot of common things, which shows that blending keeps certain nutrients that the other two, centrifugal and masicating, don't. And vice versa with the other two. And of course, there's ones that are taken away. But overall, the masicating juice, the end result of that is a juice that is homogenized, which means it blends together, it stays together, it doesn't separate like centrifugal does. Also, you have the fact that it keeps a lot of the nutrients. The nutrient content is very high in comparison to centrifugal and blending. You also have the fact that you get a better yield from your juices. As opposed to blending, you get everything. Also with blending, it's kind of, in a sense, watered down because you have to put water or ice, milk, whatever, almond milk, whatever which way you do your smoothies in order to get it to get a silky consistency that's runny enough to make sure that's something that's drinkable. It doesn't feel like you're just eating something that's the consistency of mashed potatoes or something. But again, that's the reason why I go with this particular juicer right here. You get more bang for your buck because you're getting a better yield. And I have used all three. I've used the masicating juicer before. I used, it was the horizontal, it was the Omega horizontal masicating juicer. I had that for years, loved it. I've used, of course, the Vitamix. I've used the Breville. I've used the Juice Fountain Plus and the Juice Fountain Elite. And I feel that the yields that I got when you take blending out of the equation, because again, that's everything. And when you have the centrifugal in comparison to the masicating, you're getting a better yield out of the masicating juicer. Horizontal and vertical, moving to that discussion, is something that I think that a lot of people need to take into consideration as well. I had a horizontal masicating juicer. I loved it. The one thing I didn't like about it, though, was the fact that I had to cut up all of my pieces into small pieces to get it through the small chute. I didn't like the fact of the cleaning part of it, where you have all of these moving parts that you had to deal with. You know, you had to take the cap off that held everything in place. That held the auger inside. You had to take out the auger. You had to take out the screen. You had to take out the actual feeding mechanism. You had the tray on top of the feeding mechanism. You had all of those different parts that you had to take care of, as well as, of course, cleaning the juicer itself around where the feeding mechanism fits into the juicer motor component itself. So I just didn't like all those moving parts. And that's one of the reasons that pushed me towards Blender as well. And then I was having certain issues where if you weren't level and you didn't know it, you would think something was wrong with the juicer because the juice wouldn't come out right. And then you end up getting like a lot of pulp in it, which I don't mind. That's another thing about this that I like too, as opposed to centrifugal. And people don't realize you'll get pulp in centrifugal as well, but people complain about getting a lot of pulp in masicating. You can always strain, but I don't do that because at the end of the day, the pulp is good for you. And you're still getting nutrients out of the pulp as well. You're still getting your dietary fiber. So having a little bit in there to me is a good thing, but you can always, again, strain it out and make sure that it's pulp free and you're good to go. Now, with all of that, let me go ahead and get to this unboxing. You see this beautiful red and gray box. You'd also see that it shows you that the company was founded in Australia, that is BPA free. See, it shows you what it does. It can do everything from baby food to juices to frozen treats to sorbets, ice creams to butters, nut milks, things like that. Showing you what it comes with right here on the back. You got your auger, you got your strainer, you got your spinning brush. You see here, you got your plunger, your containers, juice sleeves, cleaning tools, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get this going. It's nicely packed away. First thing in this box on this side you come out with is your strainer and the filter for the container. Next thing here is the actual motor itself. I heard that the motor had a pretty good weight to it. I'm not gonna lie. It is definitely packing some weight, but it's not that bad though. It's not bad at all compared to anything else that I've had to use. Now that's just the motor itself. Putting everything else on it, it's gonna add a little bit of weight, so you never know how that's gonna be. But you see, I got the all black. Then Optimum, your on-off switch, hold down and reverse. You see it has the cooler vent right here. Cooler vents at the bottom. Seems like a nice sturdy base. We're gonna go ahead and plug that in because we're gonna end up making juice real fast. And now let's see what else is in this box here. There's nothing else in that box. Go to the other side, see what's in this box. Turn it around for that. are the pitchers. One to catch the pulp, one to catch the juice. This is another strainer. This is actually a smoothie strainer right here. So you can make your smoothies. This is either a cleaning mechanism or some type of cheesecloth. See what it says on the back. So this is for the tofu maker, which is right here. That's the tofu maker comes with. This is the scrubber. Comes with a brush on this end. It flips around. Another brush here. Here's the plunger. Next up, is the actual mechanism itself. And that's pretty dope that they ship it already together. Or it feels like it's already together. Alright, go ahead and move this out the way. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so this is the actual, feeding mechanism for the juice. This is the big chute for the bigger fruits and vegetables. This is the chute for smaller fruits and vegetables like celery, carrot, cucumber, stuff like that. Let's see here now. This thing right here, you see the mechanism for locking and unlocking. Just twist it. This is all one piece within itself. You have the auger right here. Alright, that's pretty snug in there, that auger. And this thing is big. This is a big auger. And the way they said it's set up, it has like a double blade, like it has a double grabbing and cutting blade. Because that's this part right in here where it takes it and really pushes it down, grabs it, gets it in there. It's nice and weighted though, like that's a nice auger. Then you have the juice tray where the juice comes into and how it pushes out the pulp on this side. The way that works, this right here. This allows for you to also be able to clean it. It's like a self-cleaning kind of thing where you can block this part off and put just soap and water in and it'll clean itself out. I'm going to try that. I don't know if I'll go with that too much. I'll more than likely want to clean out this part myself. But you got the screen, scrubs around the walls, make sure that it's, not letting anything stay on the sides. You got the actual strainer itself. Good to go there. And make sure I'm putting this in here correctly. If there is a correct way to put it in. Alright, doesn't look like there's any correct way to do this. Just throw it on in. There we go. Right, put that back in. Now, it looks like it comes with two different types of juice and sleeves. Let's figure out what these different ones are. This one has finer holes. This one has some bigger holes on it. Let's see here. has arrows, let you know which way to set this up. See if I can get that right. That wasn't the easiest thing in the world, me doing that right here. But I guess like anything, it comes with practice. Now the next thing I'm trying to do is find how this seats, because this is giving me an arrow. Okay, it seats this way. Let's see, because it's giving me arrows. There it goes. Now what I'm gonna do real quick is rinse off these containers in the strainer. All right, so we're back. I rinsed everything off, because it's fresh out of the box and whatnot. Everything is set up. Now right here you have the container that the pulp goes into. It is really way bigger than the one that the juice goes into. And depending on how that ratio is, I might end up turning it around for myself. That might be a little tidbit for somebody out there. Now, what I'm going to make today is called a sweet potato pie. I got the recipe actually from a guy that was doing a review for a Optimum 700 Advanced. So let me go ahead and get that started. All right, so we have all of our ingredients. I have the sweet potatoes, I have pineapple, lemon, ginger. So first, the fruits and vegetables have already been washed. The juicer does still, of course, need prepping for larger fruits and vegetables, but you'll see that it won't, again, require as much prep because of how big the shoot is. Now, one of the great things about the centrifugal and masicating is that the way that it's set up and how it separates everything, something like your sweet potatoes, your apples, even your pineapples, because a lot of people don't know that there's a lot of nutrient content in your pineapple between the skin and the flesh, right there in the middle. So it's good to keep the skin on with that too. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend that with lemon. This one has already been used for zest, so it would be easy to trim it down. But what you do want to keep is the pith. And see, the reason you don't want to keep the skin on your citrus is because the skin of the citrus, the zest, has a lot of oil in it. And that oil has a different flavor, a totally different flavor than what the flesh of the citrus fruit tastes like. And I don't know if you've ever used zest in your food cooking. You know that zest packs a lot of flavor. You need to use that sparingly. So it's the same thing when it comes to your juicing. You want it to be the same setup. You don't want to have a lot of or any of the skin in that. So we have all of that already set up. I think I'm going to cut this down a little more. Go. And with these sweet potatoes here, doesn't look like I'll need to do much prep with them. These ones are just right. There we go. Now, one thing I was trying to figure out was how am I getting this stuff in here? And I just figured that out. So basically it has a lock mechanism right here in the front that allow for you to lock it, keep it from the flap from coming up. Hit that, it comes up, and you would end up putting your stuff in there. Now, I guess these are too long, so I would have to cut them down. But really, in comparison to what you would normally have to do, that's not a lot of work. It's actually very easy. Now, you know, me being me, I had to change up this recipe just a little bit. And what I'm doing with mine is making mine like real sweet potato pie. So you got the lemon to add a little bit of acidity. You got your sweet potato, of course, you got your pineapple to add the sweetness. And what I'm gonna do, and of course you have your ginger. Ginger is in sweet potato pie. But the other thing that's in sweet potato pie is nutmeg and cinnamon. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna incorporate that into the drink so that you'll be able to have a real sweet potato pie drink. All right, so let's get this going. Get it started. Now, one of the things about all of the juices, centrifugal and masicating, is that when it comes to pineapple is one that's hard to do. It doesn't come through well as far as separating the pulp from the juice and stuff like that. It can get caught up and get stuck. Actually, can get stuck on these ones, and it can kind of jam up a centrifugal. But what you're gonna do is just cut this up a little bit smaller. Oh, and also the good thing is that you wouldn't have to core the pineapple either. Now I'm keeping it closed because I like that little feature of it, how people will close it up and let it all get up in here and juice around. I like that. And you really won't have to use that too much. You saw the first one just went right in. So that's not doing well on the sweet potato pie. I mean on the sweet potato. Because Cut that down a little bit more than I wanted to. You hear those going right on in, getting chopped right on up. There's no hesitation on how I just grab that stuff and chop it right up. And I'm not gonna lie, the way I feel like I'm moving right now, it's like I'm dealing with a masicating. I'm moving fairly quick. And there, going. And this is a good tidbit for you too. Organic ginger has more power than conventionally grown ginger. That's something to know too. Yeah, that feature right there is pretty neat. All right, so when you take a look at it, and this is great too about that stopper is that when you're done, you close it, you have to worry about stuff leaking down and causing a mess. But if you take a look at it, we got basically a full container off of that. That's 4 cups worth of juice. Again, it's homogenized. You do not see any separation occurring. That's what happens in centrifugal. It separates. Even sitting for this amount of time where the juice was still coming in and different stuff like that, you will already start to see separation. None of that's going on here. The centrifugal would have separated already. And to me, that's a big difference that you can't get around the fact that in the process of the centrifugal and the way that it separates and the dicing and all that stuff that it does, it is something in that process is changing it to where it separates the juice the way that it does. The way you have all the liquid at the bottom, and you'll have like a lot of the pulpy, the color at the top. You know, it's funny to me. So to me, it's like seeing the two in action, using a masicating first and going to centrifugal. This is just better to me. To me, it's just a better juice. So right now, speaking of better juice, now we're about to go ahead and see about the taste. I'm gonna go ahead and pour me in some. Use the grater. Grate in some fresh nutmeg. Right there on the top. Nice little garnish. And some fresh cinnamon. Right there on the top. Now you can go ahead and drink it like that with a garnish on top. You can stir it in. You know, you can put it directly into there, into the pitcher and stir it in. It's completely up to you. Me, I'm just using it as a garnish to show you, you know, what are the things that you can do to make it look all nice and pretty and neat. And if you come close and take a look at it, how it looks on the top, you'll be able to see, you know, how it has that nice little sprinkle on the top, stuff like that. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. As far as, you know, making it more like what you would want for a sweet potato pie. You can put some whipped topping on the top of it or something like that. You know, because as healthy as it is and hopefully it's great tasting. This is my first time trying this. Is that you know, you can be a little bit indulgent. You know, you can make some healthy whipped topping, some dairy-free whipped topping and stuff like that. So try this out and see how it is. Cheers. Hey, that's my baby girl. Well, you saw I took like 3 drinks before I actually said anything because it was good on the first one. I said, let me try another taste and see if this is as good as I think it was. And then I had another taste. I'm like, this is delicious. I'll have a third. So, you know, that shows you how good it is. This is actually delicious. Tastes great. Of course, you don't got the total apple pie filling because you don't got the crust. But as far as the filling, yeah, this is like apple pie juice filling, apple pie filling juice. Yeah, so it's real good. And as far as what this has done, the consistency is great. The yield is great. This stuff is really dry. Bone dry. Like this is dry. This is drier to me than what I had got out of the Omega years ago. And that is wild for me. Well, the bottom part where the first piece of pineapple I put in isn't as dry as the rest, but that also is something that is a part of using masicating, is that first piece that you put in, the first pieces of fruit or vegetable that you put in aren't as dry as the rest that'll come through. It's something about this, you know, just the way the process works. I guess it's like kind of priming itself or whatever. But other than that, like I said, it's good to go. I like it a lot. Like I said, it's very dry. I'm so happy about that. The amount that I use for me to get 4 cups, I'm very pleased with that. I don't feel like I use a lot. I use a half of a pineapple for the sweetness. I use a piece of ginger, half a lemon, and if you count this as one whole sweet potato, I used 3 sweet potatoes, 1 big, 2 small. So 3 sweet potatoes, 1 big, 2 small. And then some fresh ground cinnamon, fresh ground nutmeg. Like I said, it's delicious to me. It blends well. It tastes phenomenal. It feels great because, you know, when you juice, you know that you can feel this stuff hitting your system rather quickly. It's like how I saw in a video years ago on YouTube. It was expressed that when you take it, it's like taking a shot of alcohol. You know how it just hit your system. You can just feel it coursing through. So, you know, definitely getting that feeling out of it. Great drink, very tasty. Of course, you know that these fruits and vegetables are healthy within themselves. They all have their own properties for health and healing and medicinal. And then again, you're using fresh ingredients, you know, fresh spices. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're gonna have you know, videos coming all the time. Just stay tuned. Please subscribe, like, share, subscribe. And with that, I just want to say peace and thank you for tuning in. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, comments, or whatnot, please leave them. I definitely would like to interact with you and have some type of dialogue. And other than that, I just want to say take care. Great juicing. The Optimum 700 Advanced by Froothie. Great juicer. Definitely recommend it. Oh, and of which, let me talk about price point. When it comes to the price point for the juicer, I paid $400 for it on Amazon. It was on sale through Amazon. If you buy it directly through Froothie, it's $650, and they have a special on Amazon that you'll be able to get it for $400. So again, this is a great tool here for your health. Love it a lot. Definitely recommend it. Peace.